Hey guys, Stuart Breeding. Welcome back to S2 TV. We started this video series, Ask Stew and Tiff, a couple of weeks ago. We get a lot of questions that come in on YouTube and via email, as you can imagine. About 3 weeks ago, we had this question come in. We've had some issues with our editing equipment, and we've had to delete several videos that we posted just because they just weren't up to par, and we're now trying to catch back up. So this question came in, like I say, about 3 weeks ago, and I wanted to start back over with it because it is a great topic and a great question. Question is, I am frequently confused by your videos, especially when you say things like you're not burning any fat in our workouts, and she is talking about our Studio 2 HIIT sessions. I do not live near you and work out at Orange Theory. Is this the same thing as EPOC? Great question. And you're hearing this EPOC term quite a bit these days, especially with Orange Theory. And I wanted to define it, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and we'll get some idea about, is it really does it really have all the bells and whistles that they would lead us to believe. So EPOC is post-excess oxygen consumption. Some people say post-exercise oxygen consumption because it's happening after the fitness bout. So the science is saying that once we get somewhere above a 75% exertion rate in our fitness bout, we are experiencing what's called EPOC. Your body is processing more oxygen, trying to recover and come back to homeostasis. Now, a company like Orange Theory is saying that because you come in there and experience their fitness session, that you go into EPOC, and for 24 hours after that workout, you're burning all this fat just sitting on your butt. That sounds awesome. I mean, to me, it's almost like back to the magic pill thing, where, you know, come and do this, take this pill, 24 hours, just sit around and burn more fat. And you've heard me discuss similar ideas, and I'm going to explain EPOC, and then I'm going to explain the science behind what we do at Studio 2. So if we look at EPOC, I want to kind of break that down for you. I am looking at an article recently published by NSCA. And NSCA is gold standard certifying body for strength coaches, personal trainers, and they do quite a bit of research, and they are really good at what they do. So the article is EPOC large enough to cause weight loss? And it goes into some detail about what's happening during EPOC and is it actually beneficial or not for our weight loss community. So I'm going to conclude this and basically go right into the conclusion of the article that says, this article suggests that EPOC is not a primary contributor to the energy cost of exercise, and then it does not alter substrate use enough to be of consequence in a weight loss program. Shit. What they concluded was that EPOC is accounting for somewhere between 6 and 15% of total energy costs. So let's just round that off to 10 for basic math. Let's say that you go in and you do an Orange Theory class and you burn 1,000 calories. And we also want to talk about the calorie issue here as well. You've burned 1,000 calories, so the 24 hours after that you're in EPOC, if 10% of that total caloric expenditure comes from EPOC, you have burned an additional 100 calories. Now remember guys, 3,500 calories is a pound of fat. So you've burned an additional 100. Now, I don't know about you, but that's definitely not the magic pill. 100 calories a day, you know, maybe I could just get that from an extra bite of food I don't eat. Now, the other issues are you're experiencing more EPOC at greater heart rates. Orange Theory is pushing, their Orange Theory is basically the orange zone, which is about 75 to 85% max heart rate, in contrast to Studio 2, which is pushing 80 to 100% max heart rate. They're doing an hour, we're pushing a half hour. So I would say that what they're doing is more steady state training. We're doing high intensity interval training. You're going to experience a greater amount of EPOC from HIIT interval than you are from steady state training, and that's just science. Now, I don't want to say, we are all about optimizing every opportunity to increase the energy systems and your body's capacity to get stronger, faster, metabolize more fat, all the above. Optimization is the central word for us. Now, if I can get another 100 calories from EPOC in a day, I'm going to take it, because, you know, maybe that's an additional pound of fat a month. I'm going to take it. You know, that's great. But is it this thing that we should throw a party around and be like, woo, we found the magic pill? It's not. So then the confusion becomes, you know, all right, if EPOC isn't, if I'm not burning all this fat from EPOC while I'm not exercising, then what's that all about? And we'll talk about also about caloric expenditure and the possible issues with that. When you hear me talking about you're not burning fat in our sessions, it's very true. We've done many videos about the metabolism in the energy systems. You have anaerobic and aerobic energy systems. With and without oxygen, you have two big fuel tanks. We have a substrate analysis. We have technology that shows us what the individual, how they are processing both of these fuel tanks. So we can advise to that client how they can optimize both their fat burning fuel tank and their sugar burning fuel tank. When you are in these high intensity intervals, you are burning 90% sugars. We're optimizing that fuel tank. Now, we also advise low intensity days where you're optimizing the fat fuel tanks. What is happening post the HIIT session is that your body once again is trying to come back to homeostasis. Now, over a period of time, the physiology of the cell is beginning to change, and more mitochondria are being introduced into the cell, and these mitochondria are oxygen hungry. So what we are trying to do with our substrate analysis and both our lit zones and our HIIT zones is to teach your body how to become a better fat burning machine. My BMR is 2000, my RMR, my resting metabolism. So if I just sat in this chair all day and talked to you on this camera, I burn 2,000 calories a day. Now, if I can, and let's just say our HIIT sessions, you burn 700 calories, right? So you can see there's much more expenditure from the daily activities, the thermic effect of the food I'm eating, just breathing and functioning is burning by far more calories during the day than my fitness session is. If I can introduce a system of fitness that coaxes my body into metabolizing more fat during the day, let's say we can teach your body to go from sitting around and burning 60% fat during the day to 85. Then we are burning a truckload more fat during the day from my 2,000 calories than I would be if I weren't doing a system that coaxed my body into burning more fat. So at Studio 2, we are trying to look inside of the individual and see where they walk in the door, how much fat, how much sugar are they burning, and how can we optimize both of those guys so that when we're not training, fat utilization is going to peak capacity. So I wanted to kind of clear that issue up, and hopefully I'm not confusing you anymore. So let's sum this up with, all right, so if EPOC isn't doing it, and it's saying that caloric expenditure, basically in the article, probably has more to do with overall weight loss. And at Studio 2, we don't give a shit about weight loss. We care about fat loss. Then caloric expenditure must be more responsible than EPOC, right? So here it comes the next problem or enigma that we have to deal with, which is that it sounds great. It sounds like a math problem where, you know, what if I burn 1,000 calories a day and 3,500 calories are coming from fat? In 3.5 days, I've burned a pound of fat, so I'm burning 2 pounds of fat a week. Well, It just doesn't work that way. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just not that simple, guys. So there's a reason why we do a 30-minute hit and not an hour-long session. You know, we'll do other videos on where the real gains, both in strength, muscle endurance, hypertrophy, are coming from volume of exercise. If I can get as much volume of exercise in 30 minutes than an hour, then I'm going to take it. We recently had a gentleman that came and trained with us, and he burned 700 calories in a 30-minute session. He went back home and did his circuit training at his gym and burned 700 calories in an hour. I'm going to take the half hour any day. Not to even mention what's happened on a physiological level because of the intensity zones that he was in that 30 minutes. And what we can guarantee is that he's not metabolizing any muscle tissue. His form is not breaking down. When we stop at that 30 minutes, we are maximizing the fuel tanks, and we are putting more volume of exercise in that 30 minutes than you could possibly do in an hour. Now, everybody's different, and they start at different levels, and we increase capacity based on the individual, but we get everybody up there. We get everybody to that level. It just, some people take a little longer. So if we are exercising at high intensities for too long a period of time, and once again, everybody's individual in this, you are going to go catabolic. You might burn 1,000 calories, but 400 or 500 calories of that might have come from your muscle tissue, which is glyconeogenesis. Your body is basically metabolizing muscle tissue and converting it into a carbohydrate, because guess what? At high intensity, that's what you're going to burn. And you cannot change that. It will never happen. I don't care if you want to eat 100% fat and be paleo or whatever you're doing, you're not going to change that. It's like after millions of years of evolution, I decided to get my blood flow to go backwards. It's not going to happen, folks. So we have to be very mindful of getting into caloric expenditure is going to create weight loss. It very well might. But when we look at a sophisticated body composition machine such as we use, we will clearly see that the weight you're losing is muscle tissue. So you're just now you're losing weight, but you're destroying your metabolism and your body's ability to burn fat. So I hope this video helps more people understand at least EPOC, where it's just not as it's not the magic pill that some companies would lead you to believe. Do we want to create EPOC from our exercise? Absolutely. Do we want to optimize our ability to burn more calories because we're training at higher intensities? Absolutely. But there's more to it than that, guys. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and we are dedicated to helping you guys understand them better.